So hello, today I'm at Stocks Windmill in Essex and I'd like to talk to you about the history of it briefly, and then the tour guide is going to actually show us around. So it's basically built in around 1816. We've got a 40-foot tower, and top of that cap looks like an upside down boat. It's 52 feet. It's actually 5 stories high. And you can see it's got 4 sails on it. And then on the back you've got the fantail. Now originally this is one of 3 windmills here, and the other 2 post mills were demolished in around 1890. In 1902 a steam engine was added, and by 1836 it had been converted again to diesel. By 1936 it was all out of operation. And then it was purchased by Essex County Council in 1945. So it'll be right at the end of the war. Now restorations took place from 1991 to 1993, and what I can tell you is the millers were William Moss of 1816, and his sons would take over, and they were William and John, and they would work here for the next 37 years. Then we have the Pertwee, Clover, Mays and the Semmons families right up until 1929. Now today this old windmill is open every second Sunday between April and September. Now the nearby Baker's Arms pub was previously called the Jolly Miller, and it would have been the local to the 3 operating mills located here. The Baker's Arms is still a pub and it's well worth a visit. Now with the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, the sails of Stocks Windmill have been placed in the mourning position as a mark of respect, and will remain so for the national period of mourning. Now I'll read the following from Stocks Volunteers. If the lowest sail is just before vertical, in the way of the rotation, it is in a celebratory position. If the lowest sail is just past the vertical, it is in a mourning position, as it is now. So let's have a tour.
I'm not going to ask her to pick you up. No, I'm not going to pick you up. Look. And then there's another one.
And then if you look up there, you'll see lots of holes all lined up. It's one way, it only goes one way.
So can you see up there? All the holes? No, I've got you. Look up, look. So there's a trap door on every level.
But if you don't, we can go from up above.
Okay.
Reconditioning their windmills and water mills.
So this is actually the first floor, is it?
Yeah, this is what we call the spout floor. So it's we've got the spouts and
okay.
and it's rather delightful looking gearing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all wooden as well. Shall I go up?
Yeah, you can carry on up. Yes.
That's fantastic. So we've got these original old steps. And would they actually carry stuff down on the shoulder on these steps?
Not much stuff, no, because the process brought it down
Oh,
by
okay.
gravity, basically.
Oh, okay.
And into, oh no, yeah, that's this way.
Yeah. So it comes
The
out.
roots come out and then the flower comes into here.
Yeah, that's so clever, isn't it? So we're going to go up another floor.
What if you go higher?
We are going to the top.
When we
You
get to,
said to me you wanted to go high today.
I didn't want to go.
Well, there you are.
You wanted to go on the fair,
I'm
but it
not-
was shut. This is better than that fair.
No.
Yes, it is. I bet Mummy hasn't been in the windmill, and I know Daddy hasn't been in one.
I don't know who's doing the top floor. Are you doing the top floor? Or is Trevor?
I haven't got a clue.
Right. Well, whichever one you like to do.
Well, I rather like the spout floor, but.
So, that door only opens.
Up we go another floor. Yeah.
So when they want to bring the sets up, they arrange the sets like this. But that's really on the ground floor, so that
Put it round on like a wheel.
goes down.
Like that.
And then when they want to bring it up again, this is the clever bit. This is turning because the sails are turning, and the miller pulls this bit of string, and that engages with that or touches that.
Yeah.
So as that's turning, this turns, and it brings the sack up again.
Wow, how clever is that, Jackson? It's like Meccano on a grand scale.
And each time the doors bang, the miller down on the, right on the first floor can hear it and, oh, I'll stop it, I wanted to stop it on the next floor, so one bang, or I'll stop it on the next floor, 2 bangs. So
It's like a little
Clever,
signal, isn't
yes.
it?
Nan, I'm not going any higher.
no,
There isn't any higher. We're as
No.
high as we are.
this is where the tour starts
is-
and stops.
Yeah. This is the top of the windmill. Let me look at No, I'm just going to show you so you can see up there. Can you see?
I
Yeah.
can't see.
That's the roof. And these big wheels make the sails outside go round.
So that's called the brake wheel,
Uh-huh.
and it's got wooden teeth, they're called teeth.
These
And
ones here.
They-
Listen,
they engage and then they turn the
turn the other wheel.
where is it? Oh. I don't usually do this floor. I wouldn't touch it because it's not very clean. But this is one of the teeth,
That's clever, isn't
and
it?
they take out a nail. If they've got it, if it breaks, they take a nail out and put another one in, and they can chamfer that off so it
Yeah.
fits nicely. And then they can get going again.
Very clever, isn't
No.
it?
Because if they had metal,
Yeah.
it would be a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
And
it's so
also,
difficult.
flour ignites, so a spark could set the flour off
Yeah.
as a fire. So
Yeah, we know
don't
that,
want
don't
that.
we? With the weather, how it's been. Yeah.
Not what Nan does that.
probably about 4 cars. If you think of the
Yeah.
weight of 4
That's,
cars up there,
It's the weight of an
But-
ambulance.
they just
7 ton.
rest on the top of the brickwork, and they turn round
Very clever.
because it has to face the wind. Well,
Yeah.
while it was doing that, it was working very nicely. In fact, we ran the mill. We got some flour, albeit if you want to make Weetabix, it was okay. It was
Yeah.
very coarse, but even so,
Yeah.
the principle was there. And then I was telling him about the apprentice mill, right? And he found something wrong in January, and it had cut the cast or the roller
Yeah.
had broken away, so it no longer turns.
Yeah.
So we've got to raise some money. They reckon it's about £100,000
Yeah.
to put
It's
it
a
all
lot,
right.
isn't it?
So we've got to raise some money to
Yeah.
just to get the mill
Yeah.
turning again. But it's
Yeah.
essential. Otherwise, if the wind got behind, I mean, we've been very lucky. But if the wind did get behind the sail, potentially it could
Could
take
lift
the
it
whole
off.
sails off. And that doesn't please the neighbours or anyone
How
else.
did they make it? Men made, well, there might have been some ladies in there.
The cap.
Oh.
This is the main area that the public see. So the grain comes up in sacks and usually on the floor below. But what happens is the grain comes up, you probably followed that rope all the way down and the holes in the trapdoor. The chain goes down into better weight. And as that's stationary, But this is called the brake. Sorry, I'm dashing around. This is called the brake wheel. So the shaft goes right way out to the sails, and then is the brake wheel turns the shaft, or the shaft turns the brake wheel once the brake has been released. So there's a sort of 12 to 1 gearing between that's the sort of optimum speed of the stones turning. But and they weigh 3/4 of a ton each, and there's only one that turns, but even so, to have that off of the shaft, and then there's 3 pairs of stones, so they're taking a drive off of the shaft. It's amazing that it's robust enough to actually go. But,
when was it last operating? Not fully operational, but just turning.
Commercially, it was turning just before Christmas. So
oh, really? But now it's not safe to.
No, unfortunately, it needs
some extra work on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were told that we could run it. This was when pre-COVID, we were told that we could run it 30 minutes a year, but then they said no, just run it, when you can. And in fact, we found that once we started running, it wanted to go.
Well, it's better for it.
It takes a lot of puff, because you look outside and you see, the trees are windy, then we're waving in the wind. We'll run it, but it's a bit like Windmill, it just talk, and then stops. So,
how do you actually get it going? Do you have to run down the base with a rope or something?
We release the brake, which is attached to a rope that goes down to the bottom, and then we can yank it and take it off the hook. And then the sails, there's a chain that runs down, which we can feather the sails so that they're at the right, or shutters, so it's at the right speed.
You fine tune it.
And then we put a weight on that to keep that in place. And there's mechanisms, a governor for instance, in the mill itself, which compensates for any gust of wind and readjusts the gap. But if we can't do it, if it doesn't, we can do a sort of display. We go up into that area and we sort of manually turn it, health and safety permitting. So, if it was a new one, they'd put a new one in, take the old one out. There's usually a nail that's holding it into place. Take the nail out, take that one out, and put the new one in. And the new one is over.
And then they drop the grain into the chutes, into here, ready for its journey down to the floor below. Okay? Now we've reason to believe that the stones used to be on this floor. There's 2 pairs of stones on this floor. Later on the mill was modified when they demolished one of the other mills outside, took the stone from that and brought the 3rd stone into here, and because they needed more room they then incorporated it all downstairs. So the mill was modified at that point, and some of the timbers, and we don't know which parts, but some of these timbers could be parts of the old mill that they demolished outside to help with the modification. Okay, so this used to be the stone floor, now the beam floor, the stones are now downstairs.
How would they have transported the stones up? Like in those?
Just by hand.
Oh.
The stones are they're not solid stones, the stones are in bits and pieces.
Oh, right.
So they make the stones
made on the ground though.
They're made on the ground.
Steel bands around the outside holding it together, balance them.
Right, yeah, otherwise
So they had to be brought up, obviously, too much.
only 2.
Depends if he's had his wheatie bix or not.
24 tackle.
So there's not that much to see on this floor now. So the stones are now down on this floor here. The centre thing still be turning, okay, so everything still be turning. This turns the drives all the way down to the floor below the stones to actually run the stones. So this will be running. Again, a bit dangerous to go against that, you flip yourself round, so, okay. I don't think the millers in them days worried about health and safety, but that's what these are there to stop all of that.
That's for the visitors.
It's for visitors,
They
yeah.
don't like scraping visitors
Yeah,
off.
you didn't have health and safety in them days. The millers would climb up the mills and do anything they liked, to get them all working. Okay?
Yeah.
Need them anymore, or we upgraded or whatever. It just took them away, So that's why you don't see so many of them around now, because obviously in them days there was plenty of mills around, but not so much now, because technology came on board, wind power, old hat, once all electricity and marriages down in Chelmsford got bigger and bigger, do away with all of this.
So do you actually think that this replaced the post mills because it was just so efficient?
This would have been put here to replace the post mills. It didn't actually replace the post mills in the country, because most post mills up and down, like especially in Essex, would tend to be the village mills. So you had the village miller, Mr. Miller, okay, making the flour for Mr. Baker, that sort of thing, okay. So all the villages, like Mount Nessing, for instance, that's got a post mill. That was the mill for the village. But here, it was a bit of a bigger enterprise. So it started off with mill. Got another one. He bought another one, brought it up here and both together, and then he thought, okay, let's build the empire a bit more. Built the Tower Mill. Tower mills were coming a little bit more sort of, let's make this a bit bigger. Because obviously we've got the rotating caps on this. Post mills, you have to turn the body by hand, or if you really better with money, like you would have had the fan fitted on back to turn the thing. But
So this turns naturally.
this turns naturally by the wind. The wind turns the cap there, faces the sails into the wind wherever the wind's blowing. Post mills is slightly different. You normally have to turn it. Take Mount Nessing, for instance, automatic rotating cap. They put the new sails on with the shutters that we can actually open and close by just putting a chain at the bottom. And it done away with the gallery that was around the outside of the mill. So when you go on the ground floor, you'll see etchings of the mills, and you see our mill. You'll see a gallery around the outside. And if you look at the top of the mill, it hasn't got a fan because the whole thing was turned by chain in them days. To gain access to that, the miller would go onto that gallery to do the adjustments. But when the mill was modified, didn't need that anymore, and the sails had didn't need the canvas pulled over the sails manually. They'd done away with the gallery.
Right.
And when you go outside, when you leave here, look at the mill, and you'll see the door out there. It's all bricked up. That's the doorway that used to go onto the gallery. You'll see all that when you go back outside. When he built, we believe the two stones were upstairs. The mill was modified later on in its life to add a third stone, probably from one of the mills that used to be out there. To incorporate it, they had to bring the two stones from up there down to here because the floor was big. So now we've got 3 pairs of stones. Makes the mill more productive, get more flour going out, but you wouldn't have 3 stones running all at the same time. So the question begs the question, why do we have 3 stones? Okay? For that is because obviously stone at some point is going to wear down. Stone running on top of stone, it will wear down. And once the stones start wearing down, you're not going to get much out of that. Alright? So the third stone, whatever stone, is a backup. So that if one of the stones is out of action for any reason, you've got the third stone to go back on. And that is all in good working order, obviously. Okay? To run 3 pairs of stones. So you've got the top stone does the turning, bottom stone is the bed stone, stays stationary. Alright, it's known as the bed stone. Top stones turn out, they turn in a clockwise position. Clockwise, okay? Spinning around. And the average speed of a stone, what the mill's like, is around about 120 times a minute. That's quite fast. But that doesn't mean that our sails are turning at 120 times a minute because the whole thing will take off. It's all done by the gearing, okay? So you've got a large gear, which you saw on the top floor, running a smaller gear. Well, if that turns once, that smaller gear is going to run 10 times faster. That's where you get your speed ratios from. And so the smaller the gear, the faster it's going to go, and that's where you get speed ratios. Alright, got all that?
It's quite fast then, two times a minute, 2 revolutions per
Yeah,
minute.
it is quite fast.
Per second, sorry.
Yeah, that's the speed I would like to. Whether they get that speed or not, it doesn't matter. Right? Again, it depends on the weather you've got outside. If it's not that windy, you try and get as much as you can out of it. And whether you get 2 pairs of stones running at the same time, it's debatable.
So
Okay?
can I ask you a question? What would the millers do if it's a flat day?
Nothing.
So they'd be down that pub.
They'd be down the pub.
They'd be down the Jolly Miller.
If there's no wind, like if it's a foggy day or something, or really, really stagnant, there's nothing the miller can do about it.
So now I know why it gets so late.
As I said upstairs, the only one they could probably do is they got all the villagers up here and blow at the same time, might get something out of it, but But no, there's the difference between wind and water mills come in, because water mills, you've got the constant running flow of the water, turning the stones all the time. Yeah, you're governed by the wind. No wind, no nothing. And they used to run the mills day or night. All the physics and stuff.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, wait till you get to the floor below.
Yeah.
We're going to blast your sides down there. Right, so here we go, the stone. You've got 3 pairs here. Right. It's another name for the stones. That's known as the bat, in case it's a stone, okay? That's the hopper head that receives the grain from the hoppers from upstairs, okay? That wooden shoe here. Grain goes into here, travels down this little chute here, right? And as it's coming down, I have to do anything manual, I'm afraid, right? What would happen would be doing this. Okay? It does that. And the grain will be dropping into the stone. That spindle there is known as a damsel. Do you know why it's called a damsel? It's known as the chattering damsel. Talking all the time. Obviously, in this world of PC, we wouldn't get away with that these days, okay? But in its defence, it had its uses. Without that, okay? The reason for that, it agitates the grain into the stones, so it allows the grain to go into the stones in a nice way. Stones are now spinning, okay? The milling is done round about the centre part of the stone, okay? As it's going round, the centrifugal force of the weight of the stone turning round allows the flour to come out the edge of the stone, drops down the side, and it's scooped up inside there, and it drops down a little hole which you can't see under, which goes downstairs, okay?
You can see it round here.
No, yeah, you can see it around here, there's a little hole down there,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And then they would have had a little thing on the side, a little sort of scoop thing round, okay? And that would all then descend down to the floor below, okay? And as you said, when you go around there, you'll see that
See it
little
all from the steps,
okay?
yeah.
Now if you come around here, you'll see the stone, its dressings on it, okay? Here's your top stone, here's your bottom stone. That's a typical size for a flower stone, okay? You put your thing in, how does the top stone turn? Well, it's fitted in such a way, it goes onto this metal piece here, okay? And from downstairs, we then can gap it. We can gap the stone. Once that's all in place, we can raise the top stone up slightly to get that gap, okay? On our mill, we haven't got this. Mount Nesson have got one. Inside here,
Lovely warm steps, aren't they? Everything's warm
Yeah, yeah.
by people's hard work.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that.
the people walking up and down, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
grain goes into here. The piece of leather inside will be nice and tight, the fell will be high. The idea of the fell is that once
Oh, this is something else. You can actually see the wall is tapered. So the further up you go, it becomes less cylindrical. It's quite amazing. You can clearly see where they've been renovating this section of cog. I guess these teeth would wear out quite quick.
Here's how it was done. The big gear runs slower than the smaller gear, so round it goes. Now, the stones are all out of gear at the moment, so engage gear, you wind the wingless. The little gear is called a stone nut. Don't ask me why, but it is. It comes out. And if you look at the shaft, you see there's a slight taper on the shaft. So the stone nut is spinning free on the shaft until it engages with the key. Keyway.
So sorry, that drops down, does it?
Yes, yeah, you wind the windlass
Oh, right, yeah.
and down comes the stone nut. So obviously the teeth engage with the wooden teeth on here, and then all being equal, the stone will start to turn. But it'll only slow the mill slightly while it. So then you've got your stone spinning at 120 revs per minute, and flour pouring out here. The miller, he'll be checking the temperature and the texture. And if it's a bit coarse, he'll adjust this. This is called the tentering, which is the gap between the stones that Jeff was saying about. And this is the feed, adjust the feed of the amount of grain in. Now, Jeff said about working automatically. If you look over there, you see two iron balls hanging on a structure. Right. Now spinning round, there's a belt drive up there to the vertical shaft. That belt that you ducked under to get down here, that spins the weights, and that's called a governor. Now centrifugal force means that the faster it goes, the further out the weights fly. And by all these levers here, and when the faster it spins, it will lift the shaft slightly from here, so that increases the gap, so more grain flows through. So there we are, all nice and happy. It's all set up. Then the wind starts blowing harder, so the mill speeds up. So then, get it, lovely, and then the mill slows down.
So it's just a constant adjustment.
Yeah, and bearing in mind this atmosphere is pure dust. You can't, and you're working at night. You can't have a candle because it explodes. You've got all this spinning round just above your head.
Would this be one of the easiest jobs to do? Would they put the oldest man here? Because it sounds a cushy little job adjusting it.
Sounds like he's accusing you.
He would be the oldest man because it was his money that built the mill.
Okay, I got you.
But quite often it was only a man and a boy running the mill anyway.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
Just a few?
Yeah.
A man and a boy?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the boy would be going up and down the steps because he's still got the energy to do it.
Yeah. And I guess the older man would know what.
That's it, yeah. And of course, that was owned by a family called Whites. Now, Whites were the thrashing contractors in the yard opposite. So, when the blokes all got paid out on a Friday, where did they go?
Straight back to give the money back to
Very good business,
He's
isn't it?
very clever.
Similarly,
Very clever.
the Shepherd and Dog at Crays Hill, right opposite Keeling's yard. Keeling were the thrashing contractors. Keeling's owned the Shepherd and Dog.
And there is a pub opposite the Windmill at Mount Lizzie.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Very funny, isn't it? Yeah.
Just across the road.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, I got paid. Just give it straight back.
Yeah. With Whites, one of their, I'm not sure what you call it, wife.
Yes.
He wasn't as popular with the men,
Yeah.
but at least the kids ate that week.
Yeah, no, very wise.
So it's the jolly wife.
Yeah.
Young Happy Miller.
Yeah. Yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Funding. So the idea is to get this windmill turning again.
Yes. That would be our aim. Yeah, we have had it running, but of course things change, don't they?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
COVID lockdown hasn't helped us at all.
So with regards to the works that have got to take place, is it professionals or is it yourselves that will do it?
The real work, if you like, is being done by millwrights, but obviously there will be volunteer input because you don't pay a skilled tradesman to sweep up if you can avoid it.
No, that's right. And reduced cost, doesn't it? If you can help out, of course.
Yes, it's it's how it goes.
Yeah, of course. How long have you been a volunteer?
On and off, probably, I don't know really.
Quite a few years.
Yeah. I've not been regular,
No.
but no, but say quite a few years I've been coming up here. Yeah, probably 15 years, I suppose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So have you had any input into the actual renovations?
No, I haven't. No.
Because I did see over here you've got some new. Where was it? On the other side, I think some new teeth on the wooden teeth on
Yeah. There's a new wooden tooth there.
So that's all made
That's
in
one
oak,
of them.
isn't it?
That they're a fruit wood, probably apple.
Oh, really? It's not oak then?
No.
Fruit wood.
Yeah, say
Oh.
apple or pear. It's got a sort of waxy surface, which is all part
so
of it.
it's a self-lubricating wood?
Well, it goes towards the lubrication, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, lubrication can also be done with tallow.
Do you know what, I'm learning a lot today.
The wooden teeth are obviously to avoid sparks with the
Yes.
dusty atmosphere.
Apart from this one here, obviously.
Yes, yeah. Well,
But it
an
is-
iron tooth, right? Iron gear running wooden tooth won't spark. But
Yeah.
Also, as you say, wind her into gear and the load goes on, should the stone not turn, it will strip a few of these teeth.
Oh.
Which is better than breaking the gear.
Yes, it's quicker to fix,
Yeah. And so there'll always be a few of these sitting around. Hammer them into the mortise, peg them at the back, then the spoke shave, just take the edges off. Then they basically wear into shape after that.
Yes, it's a simple process. You've got some spares.
Yeah.
And what are these? Are these part of the sail?
Yes, they're the shutters.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Yes, the shutters of the sails, which obviously at the moment removed.
Oh, so these are pine, aren't they?
Yeah, part of
they're
it.
just pine, yeah. So basically, so that's part of the renovation.
Yes, part of the ongoing renovation, yes.
Well, it's lovely. Floor. What's this floor called?
This is the spout floor.
The spout floor, okay.
Spouts.
Right, I'm going to go down. Has this got a name down here? Oh, just the ground floor. Just the ground floor.
From the quarry and then transported across with plaster of Paris together, just to bind it together, and then a metal hoop gets put round.
Oh, I see.
I mean, that's not typical surface. That was a mill found in, or millstone found in Braintree in a field, so it obviously had what wear over it. But the furrows you can see are the sort of principles by which the grain gets produced. Well, I wrote that text, so I think perhaps a disclosure on YouTube to say that these facts might not be.
Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. But it gives an indication of how the mills would look.
Well, we had 3 mills on the site, you see, at one time. So, but the miller found it hard going to keep the 3 going, so just had the 1.
Oh, okay.
And took down bits. I mean, these 2 posts, for instance, she brought from her other mill and put them in. And one of the pairs of stones.
You're all right, that's all right, sorry. So yeah, that was very informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. Learnt a lot myself. I always assumed there'd be more people working within inside the mill itself, but it's probably more connected to the movement of the flour. I mean, the bricklaying skills are quite incredible when you look at it. It's almost like a lighthouse. And you can see the sails. You can see what they're renovating inside. And here's one of the, most likely the unload, or the loading door, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much.